Hi, friends. Okay, so I had this idea after I got home to do a virtual coffee date with all of you because so many of you were supporting and encouraging and praying for me while I was away in Italy. And I just wish that I could have coffee with all of you. But because I can't and we're all in different places, I thought I would do a virtual one. So I put together a list of like all the top questions that I got asked when I came home. And I compiled them into a top 10, and I'm gonna share the answers with you, just kind of like rapid fire to tell you about my experience and my time in Italy. So after people asked me what I was doing next, still don't know, question mark. The second question I got asked was about the food. So that's first question is tell me about the food. First of all, it's hard to describe food, but it was amazing. And I say that there were fireworks going off in my mouth all the time. And I ate all the gluten and all the dairy, don't worry. And so my top foods that I ate, of course, was pizza in Italy. So there was a place called Bordeaux that we would go to at least once a week, maybe every other week. In Hungary, I ate langos, which is like this fried dough with cream cheese and cheese on top. So good. It kind of competes with the pizza in Italy. And then in Prague, I ate these chimney cakes, and they're like a cinnamon roll that they put on a stick. So they're these really tall chimney cakes that people walk around with. They're really good. So that was the first question. And then the second one was my favorite monument or something from history that I saw. And this was interesting. I think one of the top ones was the going to Pompeii, which is the city that was completely kept because it was Mount Vesuvius erupted and kept the city the same. So it was really interesting to see that city and walk through it just like the people would have and walk in their steps. And then I think the other one was going to Auschwitz. So I got to do that in November, and it was really, really powerful just to see it and to experience it. And it was almost like too much that my body like couldn't really comprehend it, but I think it was really worthwhile and a good thing to see. So those are my two favorites. My favorite other country was a big question. Is I actually traveled to 17 countries in 11 months, which is kind of crazy that happened. But my favorite other countries, other than Rome and Italy, were Iceland was my top one because I just say that God was having fun when he created Iceland. He just like took all of the really cool things and he just put it in one country. He was like, you're gonna have northern lights, you're gonna have volcanoes, you're gonna have these lagoons that are like the perfect temperature for humans to take baths in. You're gonna have canyons and mountains and rivers and all this really fun stuff all in one country. And you're gonna be out in the middle of the ocean randomly and have short days and really long days. So that was a really cool country to go to. But then the other one I really loved was Austria. It just like riding on the train in Austria and seeing like the mountains and like these cute little towns and these rolling hills, like that for me was just kind of like ideal country in Europe to go see. So those were my top two. Okay, I also got asked for what were my buffaloes while I was there. So a buffalo is anything weird, random, funny, or out of the ordinary that happens. And so my top buffaloes was the time that I thought I was ordering my food. I had finished ordering my food, so it was done. I thought I was asking for the check in Italian, and I felt so proud of myself. And instead, the guy came back with a lasagna. So the word that I used for the check was not correct, and he thought I was asking for lasagna, which I wasn't. So that was pretty funny. And then my other one was the time that I tried biking to the gym. And I thought it was so romantic. I was starting out on my bike in Rome, and then all of a sudden I was in 4 lanes of Rome traffic on a Monday morning at rush hour. And I can just imagine the amount of Italians that went home that day and said like, you would not believe this crazy girl, American out on the streets this morning. So I got honked out a lot and yelled at. It was quite the experience. So those are my top 2 buffaloes. My other question that was it hard? And yeah, it was really hard at first. So I think culture shock was a big deal for me. Just moving from a small town in America to a big city would have been culture shock enough. But then doing it in Rome, and just trying to learn public transportation and doing it with a new language and trying to learn another culture that's different from mine. Yeah, it was really challenging, but I think that was a good growing experience. I also get asked how much Italian I speak. So I speak a little bit, un pochino. I think I speak enough that I can hold a conversation with someone, and it's helpful if they speak some English, kind of like help me out when I don't know the words. But I do think that I sound like a baby to them on the other end. I just wonder what I sound like. And I don't have very much grammar. So really, I'm just like throwing words that I know at the wall, and I'm trying to like make some sort of conversation happen. What do I miss? So I miss walking places. That's been something that is interesting coming home, and just driving so much. I miss like getting to walk and getting to see beautiful things and just like enjoying being out and about. I also miss speaking Italian. I think that was a really fun part of just always being there and always practicing it all the time. And I miss learning. I feel like my brain was always turned on because I was either learning in a class or learning about the culture or just learning something new about history or art. And so I just kind of miss that sense of like your brain always being on and always being challenged in a new way. So those are a couple of things that I really miss. Was asked what it confirmed for me. So it definitely confirmed my heart for ministry. I think getting to do that was really wonderful. Like getting to go and see a beautiful place, but then go with this purpose that I was getting to do ministry with college students was really powerful. And it just confirmed my love of that and my love of discipleship. Also, my love of teaching. So I got to co-teach a class spring semester, and I just loved it. I got to, it was on the Apostle Paul, and so I got to teach it with one of the other professors and really enjoyed getting to lead the students. And then it also confirmed my love of writing. So I got to write a lot and blog and was just journaling all the time and just writing down everything that I was thinking about. So it really confirmed that for me. Things that I learned. This is another question. And the first thing I learned is that God is really listening to our prayers. Like, I just think I experienced that more. And I knew that going in, but I experienced it more because when you're traveling, you're outside your comfort zone just all the time. And so there were moments where I was praying and only God would know what I was asking for in my head. Like really specific, really detailed things that I asked for. And he just showed up in really cool ways. And so it was just this really powerful way to know that he is really listening and really hears us and knows our thoughts. So that was a good one. And that he really loves me. So the ways that he just cared for me in really tender ways, and just provided and showed up and encouraged me and was just there for me, was just showing his love. And then I also learned a lot about my gifts in ministry and gifts in leadership. So that was a big lesson. I learned to love hard. So I think that's something, especially when you're with people and you know it's only going to be for a season. Like these students we only had for 90 days. You just had to learn to like love hard and love fast. Like I feel like that's something I normally like take time or wait until the feelings come. But it was a lesson to learn to love hard. Another one was to be brave outside of my comfort zone. So whether I was being challenged, just in all the different ways to try something or just to just be brave outside my comfort zone. And then I also just learned a lot about the world and history and culture. So there was just so much learning that was going on. And then I got asked lots of questions about the differences in Italian culture and American culture. So that was kind of like where most of the conversations landed for a good amount of time. And I could talk forever about Italian culture because I love it so much and I loved learning about it. But I'm only going to leave you with two things. And so maybe you can text me or call me and we can follow up on this. But the two things that are just fun things to know, and you can be Italian now that I've shared this with you, is you do kisses on the cheek when you're saying hello and goodbye. And so you do left cheek first and then right cheek. So when I see you again, I want to do that with you. And then Italians really do speak with their hands. They really do. And they, so they're using a lot of gestures when they're speaking. And I love it. So those are my top 10 questions, and we'll have to get a real coffee in person, and so I can share more. And just want to thank you again for praying and supporting and encouraging so much this year, and getting to see God work in so many ways and getting to experience Him. So thank you and love you.